So one thing for Modern Warfare 2 is I'm hoping that Activision and they don't just sit on the idea of only focusing on Warzone 2 once this game comes out. As we know from the past few years, the main core multiplayer experiences of Call of Duty has been quite neglected to say the very least, just because their moneymakers been in Warzone ever since Modern Warfare 2019. And that's one thing I'm really hoping for is that doesn't happen though, is multiplayer gets left behind like how it has been for the past few years for Call of Duty as a whole, which has been very unfortunate. And that's one of my big worries, and today I do want to kind of talk about it, and let's just kind of take a look back at what's been going on in the past and everything, the past few years for Call of Duty. So anyways, let's get right into it. So let's go ahead and backpedal all the way back to Modern Warfare 2019, when the multiplayer wasn't that bad back then, but it was okay. I wish it was better, but there's a lot of things that they changed up in the game. Not a lot of people end up liking, but ended up having to stick around anyway. And we don't know how popular the game was or anything, but the game really took off only once Warzone really came out. Well, Modern Warfare 2019 was extremely popular when it was launched because everybody's like, "Oh, it's Modern Warfare reboot. We got Captain Price. We got, all of the OG characters back. Which was really cool. The campaign wasn't bad for the game, but when it came to the multiplayer side of it, multiplayer was a big content was there, but also a bit lackluster at the same time. But then until once Warzone came out and everybody's just like, oh hey, here's a Call of Duty Battle Royale. And it's one of the most, crazy things ever that we got a free-to-play Call of Duty game, especially Call of Duty. Like, we understand Battle Royales are the big thing, and they're still a pretty big thing. Died off a little bit, but when Warzone came out, that's what shocked everybody, is Call of Duty putting out a free-to-play title, at least here in the United States. They have done free-to-play titles on like a PC with Call of Duty Online, but that they unfortunately shut down, I think, this year or last year. I don't remember. We're still waiting on that kind of free-to-play title, though. Anyways, but as Warzone really blew up in popularity, like when I say really, we all know how much it blew up in popularity. For the longest time, it was definitely the most viewed game on Twitch for the longest time out there, which was actually pretty insane because Call of Duty honestly really did need that kind of comeback to really stay relevant. Because for a long while before that, Call of Duty has been quite lacking when it came to the multiplayer side of things, because there was some innovations here and there, but the game was kind of getting stale though. But now with Warzone, ever since it came out, that did go more off of a much better player retention style of gameplay. And with how the loadout system was, it made people want to play Modern Warfare 2019, but use it more as like a thing for just weapon grinding compared just to use their weapons in Warzone with the loadout system. And that's one thing I'm really hoping that doesn't happen for Modern Warfare 2. I'm really hoping that the multiplayer does not get left behind like each multiplayer has been for the past 3 years. And it's very unfortunate to see that for Call of Duty, and it's something personally I love the multiplayer. I love the feeling. I love the fast-pacedness of it. And I know I'm always trying to grab what I used to love. What I used to love playing all the time back in, when I was a kid, when I was in school and everything like that. That's never going to happen again, unfortunately. And this is going to be the same thing for a lot of us old timers who've played Call of Duty for, since from like CoD 4, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops, World of War, whenever your first game was. And I understand now it's the time for the newer generation to have that same kind of feeling like we used to have. But, I don't know, it's just, Something I still don't want to see though, I don't want to see the multiplayer left in shambles and buggy and broken, and all they do is spend all their development time on Warzone. That's just me though, and I'm thinking a lot of people are saying the same. We don't want Activision to just focus on Warzone. We want them to also focus on the multiplayer aspect of it. I know I'm just gonna keep repeating myself with this video, but it's just a big major hope, and I hope it's gonna work out just fine and not be a downfall of it. What do you guys think about with Warzone 2 coming out a month after a Modern Warfare's release? Because I think that's a little too close, to be honest with you, because that's not going to be enough time to really play the multiplayer side of it. Because once the multiplayer side of it is out, or once Warzone comes out, multiplayer is going to be left in the dust again. And that's something that none of us really wants to see happen again when it comes to Call of Duty, and it's not going to be fun. I'm just hoping that this game does not get left in the dust like every other game has been for the past 3 years. Especially Vanguard's been the worst one. Cold War was decent, had some pretty good content, but very lacking content in the beginning. And then Modern Warfare was still pretty good. Modern Warfare 2019 had an okay amount of content. The weapons were fun and everything, but let's just hope this game is actually good and we want to play it for the fun of it, than it just being there just to try to keep our attention for as long as possible. And that's just my big hope with it. And you know, I do really have high hopes for this game being successful. Call of Duty is always going to be one of those very successful games, but I'm just hoping that multiplayer doesn't get left in the dust, and so we can all just have a good time, both whoever loves the battle royale like Warzone and whoever loves the multiplayer like me and myself, with the traditional Call of Duty kind of style play. And I'm looking forward to trying out like how the new weapon systems are and everything. The other day did just come out that we are going to be having seasonal prestiges again, which does kind of suck. I do miss the old prestige system because, oh no, because it did show how much time you did sink into the game that way than a seasonal prestige, when, especially Vanguard for an example, we constantly had double XP weekends, and double XP weekends used to be like a really big event, because usually per year we maybe have like 3 or 4 of them for a year, which is very rare. And then now it's like we get them on a monthly basis, which is kind of annoying, and it kind of defeats the purpose. Only reason why people play the multiplayer is just for those double weapon XP weekends, so they could just level their guns for Warzone. And I really hope that they do stick with their guns with Warzone 2 and stick with it to where there's no more loadouts with the changes that they made with that. I'm hoping with that. Because for me, I'm more of a traditional battle royale player. I like playing where you have to actually loot all your items and everything, than just being able to get your loadout and, you know, get exactly what you want. I understand why Call of Duty did that. That's so they can, you know, differ themselves, but it's just kind of too much now. And personally, I want to go back to more simplistic stakes of it. Still high stakes of playing the game and high intensity and high pressure, but just more simplicity to it, and not having to stress out about what's the current weapon meta in the game, especially in Warzone. It's just like, But I am looking forward to all the weapons and the new weapon platform systems that we are going to be having. I think our weapon total right now is like 51 from when they came out with the blog post the other day. They did not give us any map counts or modes or anything like that. That's okay. We have almost a week left, like a week and a half left of being it before we get to play the game, which I'm very excited for personally, and I hope all you guys are too. This year, I'm really hoping Modern Warfare 2 will, you know, blow up a bit. The multiplayer side of it, I should say. I'm really hoping the multiplayer side of it will blow up a lot, because I've been wanting that itch. I've been having that itch for a game, like a really fun game to play with friends. And especially something like Call of Duty. Call of Duty has always been really fun to play with friends, but I've been having that itch for so long now that I've not been able to satisfy. Lately, I'm not gonna lie, Overwatch 2 has been satisfying that because I've been playing a lot more friends and even doing a lot of solo and having a lot of fun with that. But still, like, Call of Duty, like, I miss that good Call of Duty itch scratching though. Because the game is always satisfying to play, especially whenever you do really well. But we'll have to see how that's going to be with skill-based matchmaking in the game, which is a whole separate topic, which has been beaten to death. It's something I don't really feel like talking about all that much anymore, because it's one of those things where it's kind of here to stay, and nothing's really going to change of it unless once people stop playing the game, which isn't going to happen. But at the end of all this, I'm really hoping that this game is successful and it is fun to play. I did enjoy the beta. I thought the beta was pretty decent. I'm just hoping that they do some very much fixing with some things and making, you know, the UI better. Hoping we don't have meta loadouts, to be honest with you, or meta weapons, or at least everything as balanced as possible. There are going to be broken weapons in any kind of shooter game, but I just hope it doesn't come down to the point where we only see the only like 3 or 4 weapons, 5 weapons in a game. And especially the platform system we have, I'm looking forward to it because it should encourage a bit more variety, at least for the first, I would say the first month of launch of everybody playing. But let's just cross our fingers and hope Activision doesn't leave, you know, the actual paid premium game left to die. Like they have for the past few years and only focus on Warzone. We'll have to wait and see on how the Warzone map is. I actually watched a video by Merc Music today, and he actually pointed out this thing where, you know, as we all know, the maps in Modern Warfare 2019 are all the bits and pieces in Warzone. But he was also mentioning, he was like, we were looking under the right kind of microscope or magnifying glass, looking in the right direction but in the wrong perspective, because they probably built the maps based off of Warzone then for Modern Warfare, and because all the ground war maps are all, it's just different parts of Warzone, and it's just like, that's kind of lazy, but it would make sense for them to save resources and time and everything like that with it. That was just something I thought that was interesting to bring up. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about Modern Warfare 2, and hoping that if you guys want the multiplayer to succeed like I do. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, if you made it this long, subscribe. Follow my Twitter and my Twitch down below in the description, and I hope you all have a wonderful day on the left, and I'll leave the rest of the gameplay going so you guys can enjoy. I'll see you guys next time.
Objective Alpha is compromised. Take it back.